Inniswil Ministries International presents. Let's talk about it. Okay, young people, I don't know if you're fasting with me, and I don't know if you're doing this devotional with me, but I wanted to go over this Daniel chapter 5, verses 22 to 28. So I'm going to read it to you. And thou his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart. Thou hast knewest that all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, in and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written: Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Perez, thy kingdom, oop, oop, I'm sorry, I lost track. Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. All right. So Belshazzar was the son of King Nebuchadnezzar. Now, I don't know if you've read, but King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. Well, anyway, King Nebuchadnezzar got to feeling himself so badly, like to such an extent that he's like, oh, this is my kingdom and I did this all by myself. And so God was like, oh, word, I ain't help you. I ain't do nothing for you. And he got really full of himself. And so he had a dream, and Daniel interpreted it for him. But it didn't help him because he did it anyway. And God ended up sending him out into the wilderness. And he was like out of his mind, out in the wilderness, like living like an animal. So his son Belshazzar like covered for him. He was king while he was out in the wilderness. So Belshazzar throws a big old spread and brings out like, so when Babylon came and took the children of Israel away in captivity, they took like the things in God's house, right? In the temple, they took like the cups and the censers for the incense and like everything, all the gold, all the silver. So they're having a party, like using God's stuff, like God's holy stuff. And so God was so insulted. And then not only did they use God's stuff for a dinner party, then he had the nerve to like give praise to every other God except the Most High God. So God is mad and he's like, oh, you think you gonna keep this kingdom? Mm-mm. You nor your daddy. And so God wrenched the kingdom away from them and ended up giving them, they got defeated by the Medes or the Persians. I don't remember. Something like that. We just read it and I don't remember. Um, what I want you to know is that when you walk this Christian walk, first of all, it's not easy. Don't let anybody ever tell you that it's easy. It's not. No. And so when you start this walk, The enemy's going to come for you. And that's why you have to have your relationship with God. That's why you have to read his word so you know how to combat the enemy. So this walk isn't easy, and it's not going to make you popular with the girls or with the guys. It's not. The world has a whole other thing going on, and it is so opposite to what God expects of us. And so the world is not going to like you, and they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to. But what I want you to know is that it doesn't matter. You're not supposed to be liked by them. You don't walk this walk for them. You walk this walk for Jesus. And so you're supposed to be separate. You're supposed to, the Bible says, come out of her, my son. Like, you're not supposed to be a part of everything that they're a part of. There are things that the world says are okay that God says are not okay. And so because of that, we have to separate ourselves a little bit. You're not going to fit in with everybody else, but you're not called to fit in. You're called to stand out. You are a light, and your light shines so bright. And let me tell you something, people see your light. And there will be people that see your light and they'll encourage you. And there will be people that see your light and they're going to try to put that light out. But they can't put out what God lit up. Right? That light comes from him. That's his love inside of you. And so you shine your light. Your light is so important because when you shine your light, somebody that is seeking him will see your light. You're like a lighthouse, right? You know how a lighthouse has a big old light and it brings the ships in? Well, that's what we do to the people that are lost in the world. It's our job to bring them in. It's our job to shine our light and bring in the lost people in so they can start their relationship with God. You can't give someone a relationship with God, but you can do the introduction. Bobby, this is Jesus. This is what he's done for me, or this is what he does for us, or that's our job. That's our great commission. And that's why we shine. And that's why we stand out. And so you're always going to stand out. That it's a good thing. Your stand out means that you're shining brightly. And you shining brightly means you're going to attract the lost people. And you have to help steer the lost people to Jesus and not let them steer you their way, right? You have to steer them to him. Well, young people, be a light. Join us again next time when In His Will Ministries International presents Let's Talk About It. Until then, bye. Shine that light, young people.